Welcome from the break. We continue our lesson on formatting with indentation. In word processing, the word indent is used to describe the distance or number of blank spaces used to separate a paragraph from the left or right margins. In other words, any space created between the margins and the text is referred to as the indentation. To clarify this information, I may need to fast forward into explaining a bit of margins. We will deal with that on its own. But do understand that the margins refers to the empty spaces we find around the contents of the page, whether it is right, top, left or bottom. Any empty space we find around the content on a page serves as the margins. The margins sets the boundaries for which the contents on a page can cover, which means the contents on the page cannot go beyond the boundaries that is set by the margins. Therefore, the margin serves as a limitation on the space that the contents of a page can cover. Now, note that when we leave any space from the point of the margin, the beginning of the margin, that is from this point, okay, from the left side, this one marks the beginning on the left, and this side marks the ending of the margin, that is towards the page edge. That is the end. So when we create any space between any text and the margins, that space that we create is referred to as the indentation. Indentation refers to the space that we create between the margins and a block of text or any content that is found on the page. We have different types of indentations, and these are the first line indentation, the hanging indentation, the left indentation, and the right indentation. We use the first line indent marker to create the first line indentation, the hanging indent marker to create the hanging indentation, the right indent marker to create the left indentation, and then we use the right indent marker to create the right indentation. So, what is the purpose for the using of the first line indent marker? Now, the first line indent marker adjusts the first line indent to create the first line paragraph format. So here you should note that usually indentations apply to paragraphs. Indentations are normally used to apply to paragraphs, usually for the purposes of identifying from one paragraph to the next, or for the purposes of showing emphasis on a particular text. So the first line indentation usually will leave a space between the first line of text of a paragraph and the margin found on that first line. So we leave some gap between the margin and the first line of the paragraph. And once we do that, we have created the first line indentation. The opposite is the hanging indentation. Here, the hanging indent marker adjusts the hanging indent such that the first line is unindented, but the rest of the lines of the paragraphs becomes indented. What this means is that the first line, the beginning, the first word of that first line is still kept at the edge of the margin, while the rest of the lines of the paragraphs are shifted so that there is space between the margin and those lines of text. Then we have the left indentation created with the length indent marker, and here the left indent marker moves both the first line indent and the hanging indent markers at the same time. This will indent all lines in the paragraph. So what this tells us is that all the lines of text within the paragraph is shifted so that there's a space, there's a gap left between the margin and the texts or lines of the paragraph. How do we create the the indentations that we have spoken about? Usually, we use the indent markers found on the horizontal ruler, which is usually found above the working area within the Microsoft Word program. Now here you find the first line indent marker, you have the hanging indent marker, and then you have the left indent marker, and then finally you have the right indent marker. Let us look at how we set the indentations on or in our document. The steps are given as follows. Step 1. Select the text to be formatted. Step 2. Go to the ruler and move the indent marker preferred to the preferred point. Then 3. Click anywhere in your document to complete. Let us have a demonstration of this. So this is our content on this page. These are our indent markers. So the first line, the hanging, the left, and then we have the right indent markers. So if you want to create, let's say, first line indentations for these paragraphs, or you can say if you want to create first line indent paragraphs, then for these two paragraphs, then the first step says we need to select the paragraphs, and then we press and hold on the first line indent marker and drag it to where we want the first line to begin from. You notice that once we moved it, space is created between the margin here on the first line to the beginning of the text. So there's this space. The same applies to this one. And therefore, we have created the first line indentation. Now, to apply the hanging indents, again, you have to select the text, and then after selection, you press and hold on the hanging indent marker, and then you drag it to where you want the indentation to get to, and then when you get there, you release your finger from the pointer and then you click anywhere. So this is our hanging indented or indentation. You can say our hanging paragraph if you prefer. Now what do you see? The first line of text is kept at the edge of the margin, whereas space is created between the margin and the text, okay, that follows the first line. Okay, let us create the left indentation. So of course we will select the text, and after selecting, you press and hold on the left indent marker and then drag it to the point where you prefer. Once we do that, you notice that the entire paragraph is shifted. So there is a gap between the margins and the text for all the lines of the paragraph. So that is how we create the three types of indentations. But you can also apply the right indentation. Usually when you want to emphasize some particular text within your document, then you can apply both the left and right indentations so that focus will be paid to that particular paragraph. For instance, if I want to make sure that readers pay more attention to this particular text, then I'll select and then drag left, and then I also drag the right. You notice that the moment you see that there's this content separated from the others, you'll be curious to read or pay attention to that particular content. Okay, so that is how we create indentations. I hope you are practicing along as required. There's another option for creating indentation within our document in Microsoft Word. However, you should note that this option that we are looking at moves the text and block. That is, this particular indentation option creates only the left indentation, and it cannot be used to create any other indentation. Now, this option allows us to use what is known as the indent commands on the Home tab. Now, how do we apply this indent commands? The steps are given to us as follows. Step 1, you select the text to be formatted. Step 2, click the indent. Sorry, I wanted to be sure that it was recording. So step 2, you click the increase indent button to increase the left indent. If you want to if you want it further indented, click the increase indent button again. To reduce the indent, click the decrease indent button. And when you are done, click anywhere in the document to deselect. Let us demonstrate this. So step 1 says we have to let me insert another text. Okay, so step 1 says we have to select the text. After selecting the text, step 2 says we have to click the increase indent button. So once you press it, the left indentation is applied. If we click it again, the indentation is shifted further. But if we want to reduce the indentation, then we click the decrease indent button. Okay, that is how we use the indentation buttons to create the left indentation in a document. Let us proceed. Please, I hope you are practicing along. Now let us come to tab stop settings. Before I explain what the tab stop settings, I know very well that as you type on your keyboard, you have ever pressed the tab key before, especially when you want to type a paragraph. Probably you might have pressed the tab key to create a first line indent if you prefer. Now when you press the tab stop, what happens is the cursor is moved from its current place to 0.5 inch space on the line. Okay, so a gap is left between the margin and then the text or content that you are about to enter. Now, where the cursor stopped is what we refer to as the tab stop. So we say a tab stop is a term used to describe the location the cursor stops after the tab key is pressed. Tabs help arrange parts of the document as lists very neatly, and it serves as alternatives to using tables. That is, tabs help us to organize our content that we want in the form of lists instead of using, let's say, tables. Okay, sometimes when somebody wants to do that, you type particular information, press the space bar several times before he types the next thing, press the space bar several times before he types the next thing. When he applies any format, whatever he has done becomes disorganized. So the best way to organize some sort of lists in a tabular form without using tables would be for you to make use of the tab stops by setting the tab stops on your ruler. Before tab stops are set every half inch, that is 0.5 inches if we say so. But you can set multiple tab stops per paragraph at any location on the line. You can select from 4 text tab stops, and these are left, right, center, and decimal. You can also use the tab button on the horizontal ruler to switch between available tabs. Let us look at the tab stops available that we can so that is the types of tab stops we have in Microsoft Word. These are left, as we have mentioned, center, right, decimal, and bar. Now, when the left tab stop is set, the text is aligned to the right of the tab stop. That is, when you set a tab stop, the tab stop will mark the beginning, and the text that you enter will be placed after where you set the tab stop. That is for the left tab stop. The center tab stop, when set, here the text is centered as you type. So it will, when you set the center tab stop, the information is centered. That is, when you type, the information is spread, okay, around where you have set the tab stop. That is, it doesn't shift it to one side of the tab stop. No, it arranges it in such a way that the tab stop falls in the middle of the information that you type. Then we have the right tab stop, and here the text is right aligned and extends to the left. So what we are saying is the text will now spread towards the left side of the tab stop. Okay, it will spread towards the left side. The information you type will go towards the left side. Then we have the decimal tab stop. For the decimal tab stop is purposely for decimal numbers. So numbers are aligned to the left of the decimal. You can't use the decimal tab to align numbers around a different character, such as a hyphen or an ampersand symbol. Finally, we come to the bar tab stop, and the text isn't positioned with a bar tab. Instead, a vertical bar is inserted at the tab position. Okay, so let us have a demonstration of all that we have discussed. But before we go to the demonstration, let us understand that we use the tab selector to choose the type of tab stop that we want to set. The tab selector is the small box that is found at the leftmost edge of the ruler. You can click through the tab selector to discover each of the tabs that we have described. What is the procedure for setting tab stops? They are given as follows. Step 1. At the leftmost edge of the ruler, click the tab stop in the tab selector you want, and then click the location of the ruler where you want to set the tab. To move a tab, you set, drag it to a new location on the ruler. Drag a tab stop from the ruler, drag it down. So that is, drag a tab stop down from the ruler to remove it. That is, if you don't need a tab stop anymore, you can just press and hold on that tab stop and drag it down. The moment you drag it down, that tab stop is removed. Okay, so let's have a demonstration as usual. Alright, so this is what we were referring to as our tab selector. Now currently the tab selector has the left tab selected, but as we learned, you can change the tab stop. You can choose the tab stop from here. So once you click it, you notice that it changes to the next. So here we have the center tab. If I click it again, it changes to the right selector, tab. Then this one changes to the decimal. Then we have the bar. So each click toggles, okay, to the next tab stop or tab tag that we want. So after you have selected, for instance, for now I want the left, so I will click here on the ruler. So now I have set the left tab stop. Note that, let me pull this one down. Okay, when I press the tab key, you notice that the cursor is moved ½ inch. Okay, so space is created between the margin and where I can type the text. Now note that when we set tab stops, it means that when you press the tab key, it will not follow the normal procedure of moving the cursor ½ inch per each press. No. When we set the tab stops, what will happen is, the moment we press the tab key on our keyboard, the cursor will be moved straight to the point where we have set a tab stop. The next press on the key will also move the cursor to the next tab stop that we have set. So I hope you have that clear in mind. Okay, so now let's set a tab stop here. We are setting the left. Okay, I want to set the right, the center here. So I've selected the center tab. So I'm placing it over here. And then I want the right tab stop to be placed here. Okay, so there you have it. We have 3 tab stops set. Now if I press the tab key, what do you see? The cursor is moved where? To the tab stop that I set. If I should press it again, you notice that the cursor is moved to what? The next tab stop, and then the same thing applies here. Okay, now let me type, let's say I want to let me type some information here. So let's say number. I'm creating a list for students, so number here. So let's say name, and then program. Notice that I'm pressing the tab key on my keyboard after typing each information. Okay, and then we have let me put here all. Okay, now what do you see here? You notice that this one is also set as left. So you notice that the text that I enter, okay, is arranged towards the right, whereas for this one, the information, the tab stop serves as a center point for the information that I am typing. So the information is spread across and around the center tab stop. And for this one, the information that is typed, that is the right tab, the information I type is organized towards the left. Okay, so we can compare the two. Alright, so let me type some information here. 1. Okay, let me just leave, 1 here. Then we have, let's say, Charles, insert, tab, program, information, technology. Here, sorry, typing error. Let me change this to okay, hall. Let's say Opokuware Hall. What is wrong with my keyboard today? It's misbehaving. Opokuware Hall. Okay, let me drag this one here a bit. Okay, so I can have more space. Okay, you see. Okay, let me apply this one here. Good. So now we have more space. What is wrong with my keys today? Alright. Let me type another. So 2 here. Mark Kwanzaa, doing social science, and is residence at the Martin Hall. Last one, we have Ni Lomote, doing mathematics, and stays at the Danso Hall. Okay, so you notice that we have created a list, okay, and we have organized the list in some sort of a tabular form. Okay, so here we are not using tables, we just use the tab stops to create our list. So whenever you want to create a list like that, you don't need to, for instance, some of you type information here and then you press spacebar key several times. No, you don't have to do that. If you want to create some space, then use the tab stop to do so. Alright, so now we are done typing our list. Let's assume we want to type another information, but we don't want it organized as a list. We want to type it as a paragraph, full paragraph. What do we do? What you need to do is to remove these tab stops so that they don't apply to the lines that will follow. Okay, how do we remove? You press and hold on the tab stop and then you drag it from the ruler down. So the moment I do that, I am removing it. I am removing the tab stop, so the tab stops will no more apply to any information I type onwards. The lesson in this tutorial is interesting. We are a class consisting of IT. What is wrong with my keyboard today? IT major, mathematics minor, and primary students. Okay, so you notice that whatever we did, you cannot see the tab stops here. Alright, we are done with tab stops and its issues. Let's come to the next skill or tool, formatting tool available in Microsoft Word, which is styles. So we are going to look at how we format text with styles. When we talk about a style in Microsoft Word is a group of predefined formats that can be applied to a selected text at the same time. That is, a style is a combination of font type, font color, font size, and other formats that can be applied to any text in your document. When you apply a style, Word will format the text according to how that style has been defined. To clarify this, what we are saying is a style is made up of formats, a number of formats. So for instance, font type is a format, alignment is a format, font color is a format, font size is a format. When all of these formats, when we select all of these formats and we put all of them together, they form what is known as a style. Now, in Microsoft Word, we have predefined formats, or we have predefined styles, if I may say so. It means that the developers of the program have created styles for us to use. However, we have the option of modifying these styles or even creating our own styles. So that is what we are about to do here. Now, what are the advantages of using styles in a document? The first advantage is that it ensures formatting is consistent throughout the document. So for instance, if you have let's say 10 headings and let's say 11 subheadings, you would make sure that you apply the same formatting style to the headings and then the same formatting style to the subheadings, so that it doesn't become like, oh, you are applying this today a heading is made up of, let's say, font size of 15, and the next the heading is made up of, let's say, font size of 12. It means the formatting is inconsistent. Okay, but when you use styles, because the formats within the style are predefined, wherever you apply it to, okay, the formats within that style will be the same for all the contents that you apply it to. If you make a modification to a style, the modification to that style applies. The changes that you make also applies to all the text that that particular style has already been applied to. The next advantage is that it saves time if you want to change your documents format at once. Okay, so you don't waste too much time. And then the last advantage of using styles is that it helps you take advantage of powerful features such as table of contents, multi-level list numbering, style sets, themes, and the navigation pane. Let us look at the procedure for applying styles within our document. Step 1. Select the text you want to format. Step 2. In the Styles group on the Home tab, in the Styles group of the Home tab, click the More drop-down arrow or several. Step 3. Select the desired style from the drop-down gallery. It should be gallery, not menu. From the drop-down gallery. So please kindly effect the change for me. Okay. Now, the advice is that apply the heading styles to headings of units of a document so that you can later use them to create a table of content. Now we have a number of styles called the heading style. Let me show you. Okay, so let us look at the procedure as we learned, and I'll show you. But rightly still, let me show you the heading styles that we're talking about. So you look here, these are the predefined styles, okay, the styles that have been integrated into the program for us to use. So here you see the heading styles, okay, and then you have the subtitles. Which one is this? Subtle. So all these are what styles that we can apply to a particular text at a time. All right, so if you want to apply a particular style, how do we apply it? Let me clear this text and create a new text. Okay, so we have our text. So let us assume I want to have a heading here, introduction to word processing. So this is our heading, okay, and I want to apply a style to this heading. So what I'm being told to do is to first of all select the text. Then after selecting, I'll click this chevron. Then I'll click the style that I prefer. Okay, once I click it from the gallery that comes, okay, the last point is to click anywhere. Now what do you see here? You notice that this particular style has a different font color and a different font size, and it also created space, okay, line spacing, created an additional spacing at the top of the heading. Okay, so you notice that it's a combination of a number of what formats, and all the formats put together is called the style. Please note that every document you create has a style. By default, the style that we use is the normal style for all content. So if you don't decide to change it, then every content will remain under the normal style. Okay, let me let me put another heading here. Okay, let's say introduction to editing as a heading. So I want to apply the same format, the same style. I think I applied heading. Okay, so I click it. Now you notice that the formatting here applied to this heading is consistent with the formatting applied to this text. So you see that there's consistency in your formatting. Okay, that is the purpose of the style. Alright, we will make good use of the styles later when we want to create table of content. We have the option of making a change to a style. That is, we have a liberty to change any of the formats of a style. How do we go about that? the procedure is given to us as follows. Step 1, locate and right click the style you want to change in the styles group. Then select modify from the drop down menu. When you do that, a dialog box will appear. Step 2, make the desired formatting changes such as font style or font type as we have learned, or face, size and color, and so on and so forth. If you want, you can also change the name of the style. So you have the liberty to change the name of the style. Then lastly, when you are satisfied, click OK to save the changes. So let us look at how we do that practically. Okay, so let's assume I want to modify I don't want to modify the existing one. Okay, maybe for the headings I don't want to touch them, but let's assume I want to modify this one. Okay, you let me modify the heading one. I'll just change the color so I don't make too much. Okay, whatever change you want you can make. So okay, the procedure says we right click the style you want to modify, then you click modify on the context menu that appears. Okay, then over here, if you want to change the name, you can type the preferred name here. Okay, then you can come here and change the font. So for instance, I may want for the font to be mahogany. The font size I may want 18. I want to apply, let's say, underline in italic. For the font color, let's say I want to apply this color. And then for the alignment, I want it centered. And then for the line spacing, okay, I'll choose this one. Okay, all right, the rest let me leave it. So you see that I have applied a number of formats, and all these formats form the style. So let me click OK. Once I click OK, what do you see? The changes that I made to this style is applied to the information that style was applied to. You come here and you see the same thing. So that is how we modify existing styles. Alright, let us look at how we can create our own style. That is, we have the option of creating our own style and assign it a name that we want. Let us look at the procedure. Step 1. In the styles group on the home tab, click the more or chevron or drop down arrow. Step 2. Click create a style, and then when you click create a style, a dialog box will appear. Step 3. Enter a name for the style. Step 4. Choose the desired text formatting, and then finally, when you are satisfied, click the OK button. Okay, let us have a demonstration of this. We are going to create our own style now. So the procedure says click this chevron here, Then after clicking it, you come and click create a new style. Then we type the name you want to assign to the style we are creating. So let's say ICT. What is wrong with my keyboard today? Okay, ICT style 1. Okay, then after typing the name, then I have to click modify. Okay, so now we have the full dialog box, the name appearing here. Now I can set the formats that I want. So for font, let's say I want area rounded. For font size, I want, let's say 14. I want it bolded, and I also want no, I don't want italics. For color, let me choose this color. Okay, then let me leave it at left align. Then I want it close. I don't want more. Okay, let me create a bit more spaces. Okay, for the line spacing, I want it maybe 1.5, I believe. Okay, then do I want to create spaces above, more spaces above and below it? If I want, then I'll click this, okay, so that there will be more space up here and down here. But if I don't want to, if I don't want more spaces, then I will choose this option. I don't want any left indentation. So once I am done, then I'll click OK. Alright, I don't know, did I select this before? Okay, let me apply normal to this. Okay, so here we have a style that we created. So now we can apply it to any information that we want. Okay. Alright, so let me apply this style as well. So that is how we create our own styles in Microsoft Word. We are done with styles. Let us look at how we can create borders around text. Now, borders are line designs created around text, table, a picture, or a page to show emphasis on that text or picture or table or page. That is, if we have some text and we want to indicate emphasis, one of the ways to indicate emphasis on that particular text would be to create borders around that text. How do we apply borders around text? The steps are given to us as follows. It is a bit lengthy, but bear with me, we will practice, and then you will see that it is not that laborious at all. So step 1, select the text to be formatted. Step 2, click the arrow in the border in the border button. Sorry, it should be on. Okay, click the arrow on the border button, and then step 3, click borders and shadings on the drop down menu. Then step 4, at the settings area, choose the preferred settings. That is, you have box, shading, 3D, or none. Step 4, Scroll through the list of available border styles and click the preferred one at the Styles section. Step 6. Click the arrow on the color list box and then select the preferred color. Step 7. Go to the width list box and select the preferred width. There should be a D here, sorry. Step 8. At the preview area, you would notice that all the edges are applied with the borders. If you do not want the border to apply to any of the edges, click that Edges button. Step 9. Click the OK button to complete and apply. Let us have a demonstration of this. Okay, so let me apply the left and right indentations here, and also probably apply a line, justify. So I want to put some sort of border up here and down here, so that it indicates some sort of emphasis. Okay, so how do I go about that? You say select the text as first step, then you click this button here, then you click borders and shadings. Okay, so we have various options. In this case, we want to apply borders to the selected text. So we have the border styles here. Which one do we want? We have various options. Okay, so let's assume we want to apply this one here. Then let's come and choose the preferred color. Let me choose this color. The depth of line, I think this one is pretty fine, but if it was a normal line like this one, you see that you have various options of width here. Okay, let me choose this one. For the width, maybe this one will be okay. Okay, so you have the preview. I only want the border up here and down here. No, let me choose this one. Okay, it will be okay. So I want the border up here and down here. I don't want the right and left sides applied with border. So I'll deselect for this, and I'll deselect for that side too. And then when I am done, I'll click the OK button. So there you have it. We have applied borders around text, some selected text. Okay, so if you are reading and you see text formatted as this, you'll be curious to know what information is in here. Okay, all right, so that is how we apply borders on a particular text in a document. All right, the last but one thing we are learning today is columns. Columns are blocks of text arranged on a page. The continuation of the current block begins at the top of the next block. We've all read graphic before, or some sort of holy scripture like the Bible. before, you notice that some blocks of text are arranged side by side. Okay, so you begin at the top of one, you read, then you get to the bottom of one block, then you continue reading the text from the top of the next block till you reach the end, and it goes like that. Now if you want to apply something like that, as we find in our newspapers and in our holy scriptures, scriptural books, how do we go about it? Okay, the steps are given to us as follows. There's let me make a change here. Sorry for this. Okay, so let me leave some space here. Oh dear God. Let's get back to it. So the steps are given to us as follows. Step 1. Select the text to be formatted. Step 2. Click the page layout tab at the ribbon side, okay, at the ribbon. Then step 3, click the columns button, which is found in the page setup group. Step 4, click the preferred column style, or click more columns on the drop down menu. Step 5, select the preferred number of columns from the number of columns box. Step 6, if preferred, click the line in between checkbox. Step 7, choose where to apply the columns to in the apply to box, and then step 8, click the OK button. Alright, let us look at the procedure practically. So we want to apply the column format to this text. Okay, so the first step is for us to select the text. Next step says we click page layout, and then we click the arrow button here. Okay, you click the columns button. Okay, then after clicking it, you have some options here, some column options here. So let's assume you want 2 columns. So you click it on the drop down menu here. Okay, good. So we have applied the 2 columns to the selected text. Okay, let us select these ones and also apply 2 columns as well. Okay, so the same procedure. Alright, so we have our document now. Alright, but if let's say the kind of columns, number of columns that you want is not found here, or the design is not found here, okay, if it's not there, what do? Then it means you have to click the column and then come down to click more columns. Then after clicking more columns, you have the predefined columns still up here. But if you want to insert more than that, so I want to create 5 columns out of the text. Okay, then I can, if I want to put a line in between the columns, as you can see in the preview, then I'll click this one, okay, so that to keep a line between them. Then you come down to apply to. Where do you want it applied? So you can say this section alone, okay, or this point that is from a particular place that the cursor was downwards, okay, or if you want to apply that the column you have selected to the entire document, then you choose this one. For now, we will keep it at this section alone. Then when you are done, you click OK. So you have your 5 columns now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have the line placed in between them. So that is how we apply column formats in our document. We take the last content for this lesson, which is drop cap. What is a drop cap? A drop cap, or dropped capital letter or word, is a larger capital letter or word used as a decorative element at the beginning of a paragraph or section. Usually, the text that this format is applied to is made larger and extends to a number of lines of the paragraph. You can see examples of drop cap here. Okay, so when you are reading some books, you see that for some of the paragraphs you see the first letter displaying as this, or sometimes it may display as that. Okay, these formats are called drop caps. Now, the size of a drop cap is usually in 2 or more lines, okay, as I've been explained here. Now, there are 2 forms of drop caps that we can apply in Microsoft Word, and these are the dropped, and then we have the in margin. Okay, let us look at how we apply drop cap in our document. The steps are given to us as follows. Step 1, select the first letter or word of the paragraph you want to format. Step 2, click the Insert tab. Step 3, click the drop cap button in the text group. Step 4, click dropped or in margin per your preference. Okay, so let us have a demonstration of this. Okay, let me apply here. So to apply drop cap, the procedure says select the text, that is, it could be the entire word, or let's say just a letter that you want to apply the drop cap to. Then step 2, you click Insert tab. Then you come to the text group and then you click drop cap button. So you have two options, basic options here, which is dropped or imagine, as you can see, but usually they choose dropped. So you click it and then you click anywhere. So there you have it. We have applied the drop cap format. And if you come here, I think you have other options to choose from. So we have none. It's still the basic two. You have none, and then we have the rest. I think this one allows us to format. Alright, so that ends our lesson for now. Take a break, then we shall take the last part of formatting.